Right, welcome guys. In a new low, Disney has been bullying theatres into securing more of their screens, even though Sonic 3 is the film that is having the higher footfall. Now, just as an FYI, yes, Mufasa has technically been getting somewhat higher revenue lately, only by like the odd million here and there, and that can actually be equated down to the fact that Disney secured all of the higher revenue screens like IMAX, 4DX, all those kind of things. The premium screens, the screens where you have 10 people go to each movie, Disney will earn more money. It doesn't actually mean that they've had more footfall. So this is quite a crazy thing. It's an interesting thing to take a look at. So we're going to dive into this article today, and it will be linked down below. So please do hit subscribe if you are a returning viewer and you're not already subscribed. It would really help the channel out. Also guys, I don't really mention it that much. However, I do have a Patreon, and I would really appreciate it if you guys would go and support me there for as little as $2 a month. It really does help the channel out because we do get demonetized here. So help me make these kind of content for you a reality. Anyway, cheers. Let's take a look. So like I said, Disney is essentially bullying theatres and is forcing Mufasa into more theatre chains in an effort to beat down even Sonic 3, even though that movie is more successful in terms of its footfall. So you've got to look at the amount of screens that Mufasa has, the amount of screens that Sonic has. Sonic has less screens. Disney has more screens. Disney also has all the premium screens. So if you're looking at it on a sort of per person per theatre basis, Sonic is genuinely the more popular film. But it says this: as the holiday season unfolds, the cinematic landscape reveals a familiar pattern. Disney flexing its box office muscles by dominating theatre allocations. However, this year brings an unusual twist, as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has emerged as the unexpected box office leader. And it says, for the media analyst, but not for you nor me, despite being hindered by Disney's theatre allocation tactics. Disney's approach to holiday release has long relied on securing the widest possible theatre footprint. This strategy ensures that their films are accessible to the broadest audience, squeezing out competitors, and historically this tactic has been highly effective. Not this year though. And they list some things. Look, 1999 Toy Story 2 dominated Thanksgiving weekend. Actually had a record-breaking release of 3,236 theatres, which was a precedent for Disney's future holiday campaigns. More recently, Moana 2 debuted to 4,200 theatres during Thanksgiving, grossed $221 million in 5 days, and contributing to the highest grossing Thanksgiving weekend on record. Now, Disney's control over theatre allocations not only boosts revenue, but also limits the availability of screens for competing films. So obviously, there's only so many screens to go around. Even if that theatre's like, well, this movie's more successful, what are we doing? It's allocated, it's secured. So despite Disney's dominance, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has managed to outpace the competition at the box office, raking in more than 60 million in its opening weekend and securing the top spot in North America. Yet its success is overshadowed by a significant limitation, the inability to expand its theatre count, because they are secured with Disney. So theatre chains have basically signed their own death warrant at this point. It's stupid. Stop partnering with companies, studios, that don't have your best interests at heart, because they're not producing movies the broader public are interested in. So currently showing in 3,769 locations, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 faces a bottleneck caused by contractual obligations many theatres have with Disney for Mufasa the Lion King. While Sonic 3 has provided far more revenue per theatres, the total count of screens added for Sonic 3 from its first weekend to its second will be a staggering 8. So it beat Mufasa in its opening weekend, but they can only add 8 screens. That's disastrous for them. That's bad news for the movie. Good news for Disney. And this is because of Disney's agreements often stipulate extended runs in a high number of theatres, leaving little room for other blockbusters to increase their reach. Despite being the second highest earner this season, Mufasa continues to occupy 4,100 locations, effectively stifling Sonic's ability to capitalise on its box office momentum. So you can see the difference there, nearly 400 screen difference. That's a lot, especially when Mufasa has all of the premium screens, right? That extra 400 is a lot over what Sonic has. Sonic doesn't have secured the premium screens. So this scenario highlights the broader implications of Disney's theatre saturation strategy. While the tactic maximises Disney's box office returns, it also reshapes the competitive dynamics of the holiday season. Films like Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which might otherwise expand their footprint to meet audience demand, are constrained by the lack of available screens. Theatres, too, face a dilemma. And this has really been affecting theatres. There are a lot of theatre chains, there's a lot of theatres from a theatre chain in the UK that are now subsequently closing down. Cineworld in the UK, which I think is part of Regal Cinemas in the US, it's like the UK arm, they're shutting down. And they're shutting down because of stuff like this. That's why they're shutting down. If the studios are not... It's a symbiotic relationship, isn't it? If the studios are not producing good enough films that people are going to go out and pay, right? Pay to watch at the theatres, then the theatres go out of business. But also the theatres are in part to blame for this as well, because they're emboldening these companies to keep making these shit films. Whereas if they put their foot down and were like, no, look, honestly, no, this is a bad business move for us. No. You need to rethink your film strategy. Because they know, theatre chains do know, they know the movie industry's on its knees. And why do they know that? Because they're going out of business. It's ridiculous. Now, it does say this, Disney's films often come with guarantees of high audience turnout, making them a safer bet for exhibitors. However, this reliance on Disney can lead to reduced diversity in movie offerings, and it's also not a given anymore. Now, this movie, Mufasa, has been a bomb by comparison to what The Lion King did. Real bad. Sonic 3 is the leader. Even now it's still the leader, right? You're looking at total revenue. Mufasa hasn't even crossed $80 million domestic, whereas Sonic 3, on less screens, right, less screens and no premium screens, is at 99.55 million. So, yeah. And Mufasa's barely beaten it. So, Sonic the Hedgehog was 11.55. Mufasa was 12 million. That's nothing. This is what I'm talking about in terms of footfall. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 there would be the higher footfall movie at that point in time, actually. So there you go. I don't have much else to say, really. But yeah, Disney just bullies theatres, and now theatres are shutting down as a result of it. Smart, well done. Let me know your thoughts down below. Bye now.